Welcome to Birth Chart Basics, Episode 5, Angles in Astrology, ASC, DSC, MC, IC, and Why They Matter. Think of these 4 points as the hinges of your chart. How you start, how you partner, how you're seen, and where you root. We'll show why planets on angles speak the loudest and how timing to these points can line up with real events. Imagine your chart as a house at sunrise. 4 points fix the whole scene in place. The Ascendant at the front door, the Descendant at the back gate, the Midheaven at the rooftop sign, and the IC at the foundation under your feet. These 4 angles, ASC, DSC, MC, and IC, are the living hinges of your astrology. When you understand them, the wheel stops looking like a maze and starts reading like directions you can follow. Start with the Ascendant, your rising sign. Picture yourself standing in the doorway, hand on the knob, about to step into the day. That feeling, your pace, your posture, your first signal, is the Ascendant. It's not a mask you put on. It's the interface your nervous system trusts. Some people like a running start. Aries rising hits the sidewalk fast and decides on the move. Some prefer warm-up laps. Taurus rising checks the weather, ties their shoes slowly, and leaves when the body says yes. Gemini rising gathers a few ideas, a few texts, maybe a podcast, and toggles between them with curiosity. Cancer rising moves when there's safety and softness. Leo rising wants the sun on their face. Virgo rising wants a plan they can actually execute. Libra rising looks for balance and harmony in the first exchange. Scorpio rising scans for truth and depth. Sagittarius rising wants a big why and a wide horizon. Capricorn rising wants a clean schedule and proof they can win. Aquarius rising wants something original to say and space to say it. Pisces rising needs flow, compassion, and time to feel into the day. Birth time accuracy matters here. The Ascendant sets the first house, and by extension, every house, cusp in the chart. Even a few minutes can tilt the wheel and relocate the rooms. If you don't know the exact time, use the best record you have. Work with planets in signs first, and refine later. Once you know the rising sign, find your chart ruler, the planet that rules that sign. If you're Leo rising, the sun is your ruler. If you're Libra rising, Venus is your ruler. If you're Virgo rising, Mercury is your ruler. Track where that ruler lives by sign and house, and what it's touching by aspect. That placement is your steering wheel. Mercury ruling from the 10th house. You steer through communication, publishing, and visible expertise. Venus ruling from the 11th. Collaborations, communities, audiences, and networks move your life forward. Saturn, ruling from the 4th, you steer by building stable foundations, home, family responsibilities, property, the deep roots that let a public life stand tall. The ruler in the 12th will always ask for solitude windows, spiritual recharge, and incubation time. Those aren't indulgences, they're fuel. Now, step across the threshold and look straight out the back toward the Descendant, the point of meeting the other. The Descendant sits on the cusp of the 7th house and describes how you partner, what you seek, what you mirror, and what tends to show up in one-to-one agreements. Think of it as your contract style. Aries on the Descendant does best with direct desire and clean conflict skills. Say the thing, then solve the thing. Libra on the Descendant values fairness and mutuality. The pitfall is pleasing others until you disappear. Scorpio on the Descendant wants depth, truth, and clear boundaries. Shallow deals won't hold. Aquarius on the Descendant wants freedom, friendship, and shared ideals. Clinginess will suffocate the bond, while aligned causes will keep it alive. Planets close to the Descendant color the type of partners you meet or the curriculum you share. Jupiter near the Descendant often brings generous allies, good teachers, lucky clients. Saturn near the Descendant asks you to commit honestly and grow up about agreements. Neptune near the Descendant invites compassion and imagination, but demands boundary clarity so you don't project a dream onto a person. Pluto near the Descendant draws power lessons to the surface. The medicine is transparency, consent, and courage. Climb with me to the rooftop sign, the Midheaven, also called the MC. This is your public call sign, the tone people hear when your name is on the scoreboard, the way you become recognizable when you're doing what matters. It isn't just career, it's vocation, reputation, the contribution that sticks. Fire on the MC. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Tilts toward visible leadership, evangelizing ideas, pioneering lanes, and brave first moves. Earth on the MC-Taurus, Virgo. Capricorn leans into mastery, craft, proof, systems, and durable results. Air on the MC, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Moves ideas through people, messaging, teaching, design, diplomacy, social impact, technology. Water on the MC, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Shows up in care, healing, transformation, film, music. Planets on or near the MC rewrite the headline. Sun on the MC says, put me where I can be seen doing something meaningful. Mercury on the MC speaks, writes, analyzes, strategizes in public. Venus on the MC elevates aesthetics, relationships, and customer experience. Mars on the MC gets paid to push, protect, build, compete. Jupiter on the MC expands scope, teaches, crosses borders literal or intellectual. Saturn on the MC architects structures and earns authority through time. The winds may be slow, but they stick. Uranus on the MC innovates and disrupts. You don't just fit the future, you build it. Neptune on the MC inspires and dissolves what's stale. You'll need clarity rituals to keep the vision clean. Pluto on the MC transforms from the root, taking you into power, crisis leadership, or deep, specialized work that remakes a corner of the world. Now drop beneath the floorboards to the IC, the Imum Coeli, the lowest point, the root system. This is your private room, your family soil, your memory bank, the place you go to remember who you are when no one is looking. Fire at the IC needs play, light, and creative projects at home. Earth at the IC restores through order, stability, good tools, and tactile comfort. Air at the IC wants conversation, books, cross breeze, windows open. Water at the IC needs privacy, ritual, emotional honesty, and spiritual connection. Planets on the IC are intimate and formative. Moon on the IC craves deep roots and sanctuary. When home is safe, everything else blooms. Saturn on the IC can carry ancestral responsibility that becomes a strong spine with structure and time. You might become the stable one your lineage needed. Neptune on the IC asks you to make home a sanctuary for art, rest, prayer, and compassion while practicing boundaries so you don't drown in other people's feelings. Pluto on the IC invites profound root work, decluttering, renovation, therapy, ancestry. Change the basement, and the whole house feels different. These 4 points make 2 great axes. The ascendant and descendant form the relationship axis, self and other, the rhythm of how you start and how you meet. The midheaven and IC form the vocation and foundation axis, public life and private roots, the rhythm of how you ship your work and how you recharge. When life feels noisy, return to these axes. Begin the day as your ascendant so your body says yes. Meet people at your descendant with clarity about needs, boundaries, and generosity. Ship one small mid-heaven aligned action so the world has something to recognize. Then return to the IC to refuel in the way your roots require. Angles are loud because the houses they anchor, the 1st, 4th, the 7th, and 10th, are angular houses, the engine rooms of the chart. A modest Venus becomes central if it sits on the mid-heaven. A shy Mars becomes decisive on the ascendant. Even soft aspects get volume when they touch an angle. Tight orbs matter. Keep conjunctions to angles within a few degrees when you interpret. They tend to shout. Trines and sextiles to the MC can make visibility feel like a natural wind at your back. Squares to the Ascendant aren't flaws. They're training plans for your approach. Oppositions across the IC and MC ask for balance between home and vocation. Nourish the root if the branch is heavy. Prune the branch if the root is overgrown. Timing becomes practical when you watch transits and progressions to the angles. Saturn to the midheaven tests and consolidates. You trim what's extra, take responsibility, earn credentials, and choose what lasts. Jupiter to the midheaven expands and invites. You pitch, publish, teach, and say yes to doors that open. Uranus to the ascendant or midheaven unlocks sudden change. You may exit a tight lane for one with air. Neptune to the IC dissolves old forms and redreams home. Protect sleep, art, and boundaries, and let the new image of home flow in. Pluto to the descendant transforms partnership patterns. Power, truth, and consent come to the front of the room. The progressed moon crossing an angle feels like an inner tide turning, often followed by outer events within months. A move, a job shift, a relationship milestone, a change in how you carry your name in the world. Track those crossings. They're reliably on time. Relocation can change the angle story even when your natal angles don't move. When you move cities, the local meridian shifts your house cusps. A planet that was quiet in your hometown can move onto an angle in your new city and start speaking through a megaphone. That's the logic of relocation charts and astrocartography lines. Living near your Jupiter midheaven line can amplify growth and teaching. You may find it easier to be recognized there. A Saturn IC line can be excellent for building something serious and lasting at home, though it can feel heavy if play is missing. A Venus descendant line can bloom relationships and client work. Use relocation to support a season and an intention. It's a tool, not a cure-all. If your roots are depleted, no midheaven line will fix burnout without rest. Let's make the angles practical with a few mini portraits. If you have Mars conjunct the ascendant, your body likes momentum and honest boundaries. Give yourself a sprint each morning, a short workout, a decisive task, and practice a clean, no script, so your fire stays bright rather than scattered. If Neptune squares the ascendant, inspiration is your fuel and clarity is your practice. Begin the day with a simple container, 2 timed blocks, a single page to ship, so dreams become drafts instead of vapor. If Saturn is conjunct the descendant, you're learning commitment and clarity in partnerships, fewer, better bonds, contracts up front, honest timelines. If Jupiter trines the descendant, say yes to generous collaborators and widen your pipeline. The right people will multiply your work. If Mercury sextiles the midheaven, a weekly published cadence compounds beautifully. Short newsletters, threads, talks, or tutorials are leverage. If Uranus squares the midheaven, your career wants innovation. Pilot a small wild idea, gather data, iterate, don't wait for permission. If the moon sextiles the IC, ritualize your evening, wind down the next day will thank you. If Pluto squares the IC, renovate the basement mentally or literally. A deep clean, a tough conversation, a lineage story-faced, change it at the root, and friction drops everywhere else. Here's a gentle, realistic 7-day plan to work with your angles. Day 1, write down your ascendant, descendant, midheaven, and IC with degree numbers. Know any planet sitting within a tight orb of any angle. Day 2, find your chart ruler and craft one steering sentence in plain English. I'm I dice rising. My ruler I dice in the Odyc house means I steer by Geist. Day 3, choose a partnership skill that fits your descendant sign and practice it for 10 minutes. A direct ask, a clean boundary, a fairness check, a repair script. Day 4, take one midheaven aligned action you can finish in under an hour. Send the pitch, update the portfolio, make the call, polish the page. Day 5, feed your IC with exactly what its sign wants. Order the room, cook the comfort meal, journal the memory, make the home altar, soak in quiet, Day 6. Look for one supportive aspect to an angle and one challenging aspect. Use the supportive one on purpose and design a micro practice for the challenging one. Day 7. Open your ephemeris or app and mark the next transit to your midheaven or to your chart ruler. Set a reminder and prepare the runway now. Draft the email, block the time, tell a trusted friend. If you prefer a mantra, keep it simple. Start like you're rising, meet like your descendant, ship from your midheaven, rest at your IC. On busy days, even a tiny version works. Begin with a 2-minute ritual that matches your ascendant's pace. Exchange one honest sentence that fits your descendant's style. Complete one visible step that aligns with your midheaven. Close with one root-restoring act that feeds your I-Shi-Si. Do this rhythm 5 days in a row and watch how your energy steadies and your timing sharpens. Angles are your compass. Start like you're rising, meet the other at your descendant, ship one midheaven aligned action, then refuel at your IC. If this helped, subscribe and tell me one angle you'll focus on this week. And any planet sitting right on it. Share this with a friend who's only read sign horoscopes. The angles are where the chart comes alive.